Welcome back to Political Capital, the intersection of money and politics. It's been a year since the passing of another one of ANC stalwarts, and this time, Ahmed Kathrada. Winnie Mandela herself said that the passing of Kathrada closed a chapter in the life of the African National Congress. We spoke to two of the current ministers in the South African government, Pravin Gordhan and Derek Hanekom, about some of their memories about Kathrada and also what they make of South Africa's current challenges.
Let me start with this question. What would you want South Africa, how would you want rather South Africa to remember Mr. Kathrada?
I think the best way of remembering Ahmed Kathrada, Uncle Kathy, as so many people fondly knew him, is to walk in his footsteps and do the kinds of things that he was doing to make our country a better country, and to be guided and inspired by his principles and his values, and to get that to really be infused in our society. So when our president today calls upon all of us to, to lend a hand and to be available, I think we can take it even one step forward and one step further and say, don't just, make yourself available, but start doing things. Start being the change in whatever little corner you occupy, in your place of work, in your place of worship, in the school that you attend. Just be a change agent and to be inspired by people like Kathrada, Walter Sisulu, Nelson Mandela. And so we have these great inspirational leaders that took us to where brought democracy to our country, brought freedom to our country. We know that we were perilously close. We were on the precipice of disaster. So things went badly wrong. And so I think we need to send out a word of encouragement to all people in South Africa to roll up your sleeves and to fix all of the things that are wrong and to make this the truly great country that it could be, inspired by the visions of people like Ahmed Kathrada, Walter Sisulu, and many others that are there to inspire. So as we speak about his life, we know that he touched many people's lives, he influenced so many people. We've got to draw the best out of him and be the best ourselves.
Mr. Gordhan, let me come to you. Do you think that Mr. Kathrada would be pleased with the leadership that we have now in the country and the state of governance in our country?
Well, you'll certainly be pleased with someone like Mr. Ramaphosa, whom he's worked with before, and who was also, am I right? He was
the chairperson
in the foundation itself, and with whom he enjoyed a very good relationship. And the integrity with which he's approaching the governance process from the time he was put into office sometime in February. And the state of the country, he'll agree we're on a good path, as my colleague is saying, but also there would be an appreciation that there are many tough battles to still fight and overcome. And that spirit of coming together, that spirit of lending a hand, the spirit of being principled about what we do is something that we should all be inspired about. The key, of course, is how do you propagate this? How do you make the 20-year-olds and the 25-year-olds and the 30-year-olds in our society understand what this Mandela, Kathrada, Sisulu generation did in their time that entitles us to a democracy that we have today?
Do you think that the ANC as the ruling party in South Africa is doing enough to actually keep to the legacy that the likes of Ahmed Kathrada, yourself, Nelson Mandela, and other struggle icons that have left?
As my colleague said, the ANC has been redirected in some ways in December last year towards its true mission and policies. And like any organization, it will have many good things going for it, and at the same time it will have to acknowledge its weaknesses and overcome those weaknesses as well. So the one good thing about the ANC is that it's very frank about some of the challenges that we face. The key is how do we now not just talk about it, but bring about the practical changes that need to be brought about.
And I think the nice thing about having a leader like Cyril Ramaphosa is that he in himself is determined to restore the credibility of the ANC, to bring back the values of the ANC. And he's won the hearts of so many South Africans, not just ANC members, former ANC members who have drifted away from the party, but in fact, all of society. We are seeing, we use these cliches, new dawns, new eras, etc. But we are seeing a tremendous new mood of optimism, spirit of optimism and determination to turn things around and be the great country that we can be. But the starting point is a leader that everyone can look up to, and we have that.
Before we move to our party in question, what is your greatest memory of Ahmed Kathrada?
Well,
I defer to the chairman.
I think, I don't know about Pravin, but I don't think either of us knew Ahmed Kathrada as many people here did from the time before he was imprisoned. But so we met him after he was imprisoned. Of course, he subsequently married Barbara Hogan, who spent years in prison with my wife Trish. And so we, by necessity, we spent so much time together socially, politically. We were in Parliament together right in the beginning in the first term. Pravin was there as well, and then Pravin drifted off to become the Commissioner of the South African Revenue Service, and the rest is history. But we connected at an early age, an early stage rather, in our country's democracy. And all we can say is that these were the people that we really looked up to. I've got to say about Pravin, many people look up to Pravin for not only the role that he played in the anti-apartheid struggle, but in the role that he has played subsequently. But Pravin himself is inspired by people like Isu Chiba, Nelson Mandela, Walter Sisulu, you name it. We have to draw on these great people for, and suck in their inspiration and suck in the things they stood for and internalize these things so that we can carry forward their work. Because they aren't with us anymore, but they remain very much part of us. And it's their inspiration that is able to trigger. But your question was, what do we remember more than anything else? What do we remember about Uncle Kathy, as people know him? It's his great humility.
His humility,
courage,
his steadfastness, his courage, his boldness. His attachment to the organization. But it wasn't a case of attachment right or wrong.
That's it.
Also, towards his latter days, willing to quite openly say there are things to fix and that there are things we could actually do better. So I think we can talk for hours about what keeps us attached to this kind of legacy. But the key point is these images and these ideas must remain in one's mind because they remain a beacon and help you to distinguish between what is right and what is wrong.
Yep. Yeah.
I think I'd be fired or I'd be doing an injustice if I would not ask this question to you, Mr. Gordhan.
Which is your last one. Thank you.
Where have you found the most problems within the state-owned entities? As we know, we can run away from the fact that you're the newly elected Minister of Public Enterprise. And what are the plans to turn those SOEs around?
Well, go back to the State of the Nation address of President Ramaphosa. He spelled it out very clearly that the SOEs have, in most cases, lost a sense of mission. In other words, they seem to be serving something else, not this country, and their primary purpose. Secondly, in most instances, boards have been manipulated, boards of directors. They need to change. In the third instance, management teams have become self-serving in many instances. They need to also be changed. In the fourth instance, corruption needs to be got rid of. In the fifth, we need to reorientate these entities to get back to doing the things they need to do and contribute both to our economy and to our society as well, in the various forms in which we're supposed to.
As we leave, you said in your speech that we must bring back the slogan of pay back the money. How are you planning to actually recover the millions and even billions, if I'm right, that have been lost through state capture and other illegal ways in our country?
That's the job of the law enforcement agency. So we must set the goal that we want that money back, and the South African public must say so loudly. And the law enforcement agencies must do that which is required of them to actually track the money down and bring it back. It can be done.
But I just want to repeat, I mean, absolutely right. But I think the starting point is, conditions have to be conducive to do all of these things. And when you have a leader and a president that is absolutely resolute to correct the wrongs and to bring justice and to bring a sense of fairness in our society, and to not have anything stand in the way of justice taking its course, then it's a very good starting point. When then people like myself and Pravin Gordhan have to do our bit to ensure that we restore the credibility and the effectiveness of these state-owned institutions. But in answer to your question, justice has to be done and the wrongdoers have to be brought to justice.
Love her or not, scenes like the ones behind me will continue to play out as more and more people come to terms with the passing of this great, great legend that is Winnie Mandela. From us here in Political Capital, we'll see you on Thursday.